The 1960s era of the Bay Area of California is usually remembered as a time of love, peace, and spiritual awakening. There remains a dark and unexplained enigma staining the otherwise joyous history. A lone and frustratingly evasive killer roamed the Bay Area streets at night, usually targeting young couples in cars. Dubbed the Zodiac due to his messages signed with a zodiac symbol, he became known as one of the most frightening and elusive killers in history. Although this person claimed to have carried out the slayings of 37 people, detectives were able to identify only 7 victims, of whom 5 perished and 2 survived. Throughout his serial crimes, the Zodiac would send gruesome letters to the Bay Area press as a way of bragging and taunting his investigating officers. But some of the messages he sent were no ordinary letters. They were obscure coded cryptograms or ciphers. From the late 1960s until 1974, the Zodiac Killer sent 4 of these cryptic coded letters, as well as proof that he was responsible for ending the lives of at least 5 people in the San Francisco Bay Area. Until this year, only one of the 4 ciphers has actually been cracked. The perpetrator's letters were written in 2 sections. The first part was usually transcribed in plain text, while the second was in a ciphered text, which he claimed held clues as to his identity. In the plaintext section, he demanded newspapers publish his letters under threat of targeting more innocent people. In other parts of his letters, he listed the names of his planned victims, creating social chaos within the Bay Area. His goal was to manipulate the media in order to spread terror throughout the community, and it worked. As cryptographers examined his letters more deeply, they were able to uncover the motives driving the Zodiac to persist with his dark plan. Of the 4 cipher letters he sent, one was a 3-segment coded message, which arrived at 3 different media outlets, making a 408 symbol cipher. His other notorious cipher letter contains a 340 character message, which was previously never cracked. After the Zodiac sent his 408 symbol cipher, labelled by investigators as Z408, he dispatched another message to the police claiming that if they could solve the code of that cipher, in his words, they will have me. However, the Zodiac probably did not expect the message to be deciphered so quickly. Within days of the letters being sent, schoolteacher couple Donald and Betty Harden had managed to solve the Z408 cipher. The Z408 cipher was comprised of random symbols which corresponded to a plain text message. While the Zodiac ciphers may have made him appear a genius to some, his Z408 effort was not very difficult to unscramble, being a simple homophonic substitution cipher. While in a basic cipher, each ciphertext letter matches up to a plaintext letter. In a homophonic substitution cipher, more than one ciphertext letter can correspond to a plaintext letter. While this may seem complex, historically speaking, the cipher was much easier than any cryptanalyst may have dealt with. To unscramble the Z408 cipher, Donald and Betty Harden basically sought out common patterns and trialled various letters that could fit into the ciphertext. After scrutinizing the text, they found that certain symbols were used more frequently than others. For example, there was a large number of double symbols or letters used in the ciphertext. Frequency analysis shows that the letter L is doubled most often in English. Because the message was written by a serial killer, they deduced that the double letter L must be preceded by the letter I, creating the word kill. In cryptography jargon, the word kill provided the crib, that is a word that could be applied to other parts of the message to extrapolate other phrases. While the message did have a few spelling mistakes, its import was clear. The decrypted code provided a frightening insight into its author's mind. According to the decoded plaintext message, he was endeavouring to collect slaves to serve him in his afterlife in paradise. While the chilling message gave place to the motive for his serial killing, the message never revealed his identity. According to his message, he declined providing his name because it would slow down or halt his collection of slaves. While the Hardens succeeded in solving the Z408 cipher, the last 18 letters of the plaintext were a bizarrely jumbled collection. Seemingly meaningless text, some cryptanalysts came to the conclusion that these letters are filler letters, written to create a cipher in 3 equally sized parts. Others maintain that the letters can be reshuffled to reveal the names of the Zodiac Killer. However, these last 18 letters can be rearranged to produce 741,050,475,200 transpositions, rendering such an anagram almost impossible to decipher. Perhaps the Zodiac was referencing an anagram from these last 18 letters when he claimed that the police would have him. The question remained as to whether the letters actually contained his name or was simply another method employed by the Zodiac to befuddle his investigators. Although the bulk of the Z408 ciphers have been cracked, the mystery behind these last 18 letters still remains. In 2011, Corey Starlipper from Tewksbury, Massachusetts, claimed to have decrypted the notorious Z340 cipher by hypothesizing that it is what is known as a Caesar shift cipher, where each plain text letter is moved 3 letters down the alphabet. To add to the complexity, before Starlipper actually applied the Caesar shift, he arbitrarily converted each zodiac symbol to a Latin letter. A major problem for the police in solving the cipher was that it consisted entirely of zodiac symbols. The cipher shows a distinctive circle with a cross through the centre and was sent to the San Francisco Chronicle newspaper on November 8, 1969 by a man calling himself Zodiac. Starlipper's method relied on his own assumptions, and his deciphered message yielded text with English phrases, but not complete sentences. Interestingly, the last part of the plain text yielded the statement, "My name is Lee Allen." Arthur Lee Allen was a prime suspect during the police investigations of the case. However, his DNA did not match the DNA extracted from envelopes containing the Zodiac's letters. Many cryptanalysts have questioned the accuracy of Starlipper's decipherment, and there is also no proof that Lee Allen is the Zodiac. It's even been suggested that the Zodiac was trying to frame Lee Allen. Recently, a mathematician in Australia teamed with US and Belgian computer programmers to finally crack the code of the Z340 cipher. A University of Melbourne supercomputer called Spartan was put to work in collaboration with the global team of Sam Blake, David Orenchak and Jart van Eyck. The cryptologist proceeded by trial and error, about 650,000 different reading directions through the cipher. While the search turned up virtually no leads, one of them uncovered a small startling sequence of words, gas chamber. That such a ghastly phrase should pop up in a mass of data warranted further attention. From that fragment, the team was able to reverse engineer the key and correct an error Zodiac had made in a diagonal configuration of the cipher. They realized that the message was arranged in a diagonal pattern, so that when the words ended on the right side of the text block, the diagonal message would continue in the next diagonal line on the left side. They decided that the Zodiac had been trying to thwart any decryption by changing his method of arranging the letters from what he'd used in previous messages. The team's decryption process using Van Eyck's A to Z decrypt software resulted in authentic pieces of text jumping out at them. One was a statement "that wasn't me on the TV show," referring to a Bay Area television talk show called The Jim Dunbar Show, which aired 2.5 weeks before the cipher was sent. A repeat caller to the show claimed to be the Zodiac, but was later found to be a mental hospital inpatient. The 3 cryptologists theorised that the Zodiac was disappointed that his first note was so easily cracked by amateur deciphers, and went out of his way to make Z340 more difficult. The team has since been officially recognised by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation as the private citizens who solved the 50-year-old cryptic message, ironically only with the aid of highly sophisticated software. And while the official cracking of the 340-character cipher gives more insight into the perpetrator's thoughts and actions, it still does not reveal a name, as he had promised in his multiple letters sent to newspapers. The Zodiac case therefore continues as an ongoing investigation by the FBI San Francisco Division and the law enforcement associates. Adding to the dread that he once caused, the Zodiac killer remains unidentified and uncaught to this day. While brilliant cryptography has helped to explain his motives, it has provided virtually no clues as to who he is, deepening the mystery around his horrific crimes. Perhaps the 2 remaining ciphers only cracked will help identify him.